Hey everyone, MLive's Brendan Quinn here in Chicago at the conclusion of Big Ten Media Day. Michigan came today, Jim Harbaugh alongside J.U. Chesson, James Ross III, and Joe Bolden. Just met with the media over the course of what was a very long day for everyone involved, but here we are at the end of it. I guess the obvious question coming in was going to be what was the reaction to Jim Harbaugh going to be like from this is kind of him being a first national collective media appearance
since he left
as
the
Michigan
49ers,
coach,
really.
right?
Mm-hmm.
What'd you kind of see in terms of how he played things today? It seems a little bit close to the vest, but he like joking around and kind of relied on that route.
Yeah, I think and it's funny because I think that somebody's maybe talked to him at some point and said, like, if there's a question you don't want to answer, just direct it into an area that you want to talk about. And what happens there is, because I hear a lot, why doesn't anybody ever ask him this, or why doesn't anybody? And we ask him all this stuff. It's just there's certain things he's just not going to talk about, and that's where you get a lot of the quirky stories or the flashbacks, or the memories, and really, in a lot of ways. This is still so new to him that a big part of his everyday life, like he talked over there for a minute, or for a little bit of while actually, about how he and his wife just took their youngest children to register at elementary school, the same one he went to in Ann Arbor when he was a kid, and it was St. Francis. So the same thing, and little things like that. So I think a lot of that stuff that's happening is still very fresh on his mind. In terms of the stuff about the team, he's not talking about it. No, frankly, he is not. And he says, we'll start practice on Friday. We'll find out from there. I mean, I don't know if I can blame him because he's only coached him in spring for 4 weeks. It's not like he's coached him in games. He's still got to learn the roster, really. I think that's a big part. He's still got to figure out who his guys are and who he's got.
You asked him earlier about the quarterback battle, and even speaking with J.U., and people were trying to say, what are the differences between Rudock and Morris, and the only thing he would say, he knew exactly what was going on. He's not about to say anything, but all he really said is one's left-handed, one's right-handed, so the spin's different, and it's a different read a little bit. But earlier in the day in an interview with MGO Blue, he made it seem like MGOBlue.com, the official university website for Michigan, kind of had it narrowed down, and he kind of said, or he was quoted as saying it's Rudock and Morris, and then you asked him, and he kind of took a different route.
But it's funny because he's circled back to it all day. That those two guys are, because originally it was, he was being careful not to say that he's got two favorites coming in. I don't think he wants to say that, but at the same time, I think he's made it clear all week, even when we talked to him in Ann Arbor, and then multiple times here today, that the two guys that are the most put together and the most ready to go, it seems like, are Jake Rudock and Shane Morris. Who wins that job remains to be seen. He did mention, somebody had said, why is Jake Rudock here? And he said his body of work was something he felt could help their football team. So we can read between lines, which sometimes you have to do with him. Sure. They wanted somebody who's experienced. I'm still of the thought that Jake Rudock's the quarterback on at Utah when they start the season. But from everything Harbaugh's saying, Shane Morris absolutely has a chance. Depends on what he did in the summer. Depends on what he does in fall camp. So that thing's not over with yet.
For an hour, Jim Harbaugh sat with the local reporters, kind of more away from the TV cameras and stuff like that. Nick, you were right in there for most of it, and obviously there was a lot of anecdotes, a lot of that kind of that go-to, those offshoots that he kind of uses, as opposed to actually answering questions. But any news and notes to come out of that?
News and notes, no. I mean, we got most of that out of the way earlier in the week, to be quite honest. I mean, with roster stuff and all the updates. But this was an event where, for a guy that plays it pretty close anyway, with a ton of people here, national people all over the place, he knows the cameras are on him. He just didn't. I mean, he's just not going to do it. I mean, I asked him, who would your starting offensive line be? You'll find out when we play Utah, because and he's also saying, I don't have their depth chart, I'm not giving them mine, that kind of thing. And again, it goes back to he still has to learn the ins and outs of that roster. I think he's still learning the personalities of his players, what they're like. You got to remember they had spring camp, and then you don't get to see them again for the whole summer. So I don't know if he's totally comfortable answering questions about certain guys, because frankly, unless they really caught his eye in the spring, he probably doesn't know much about them yet. And I think that's a process that'll continue on. Basically, at the end of the day, it was, I'm ready to go to work on Friday for the start of practice. I could do without all this, and we probably could too, to be quite honest with you. These are long days, but that's it. I mean, that's a pretty safe and bottom line thing. And he just he was himself. He engaged with people earlier in the day, and and he was friendly and all that sort of thing. And so there it was. I mean, the Jim Harbaugh show. It was just everywhere he went, there was 50, 60, maybe more, 100+ reporters following him everywhere he went. For what, 8 hours? I mean, all day
looked like flies or moths at night to light.
Yeah, to a light.
Just kind of all just gravitated everywhere he went. Well, and speaking of roster, we were hoping to get an actual official roster for heading
should be getting that.
into camp.
I was told by their staff, maybe tomorrow, maybe tonight. I don't know, but should be soon.
We'll see. Well, but either way, the next availability for Jim Harbaugh and company will be Michigan's official media day. We're going to do this thing all over again, essentially,
Thursday.
except with all the players, on Thursday of next week. So we'll see you then, I guess. So for Nick Baumgartner, I'm Brendan Quinn. Have a great day.